Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Gemini channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading. So we do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes to help you understand why your person is acting the way that they are. Again, there's many different realities that play out at one time. Why would you want to choose to live a reality that keeps you triggered, emotionally triggered? We wouldn't. And you know why? Because if we're emotionally triggered, we are not in the present moment. And only in the now do we get divine guidance. Only in the now can we really create change. So if we don't want to recreate the same experiences that keep us stuck in a place of limitation, we have to integrate and transmute the negative energy, because that's what shadow healing is. It's about seeing your situation from a different perception and then taking that energy and creating with it, because you just can't get rid of negative energy. You have to actually embody a new consciousness. So when we're talking about the relationships, we're talking about like acting differently, obviously. So the readings obviously have a therapy style to them, because we're looking at everything. We're not just looking at what they did and what they're going to do. It's a lot of why they do what they do, why you're attracting that person into your life, and what is the entire spiritual significance. Because clearly, on a psychological and emotional standpoint, it doesn't make sense a lot of times. And it's not supposed to. Staying stuck makes us, again, it forces us to heal because it feels uncomfortable to be stuck. All right, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel you find in the description box below. All right, the word of the video is exquisiteness. I'm going to pull another one, but I'm feeling like somebody feels like this connection that they have with you is very like something that they've never had before. That's number one. And it's also they contributed to you, obviously not to them, because I think that this person like hasn't had good relationships, and there's a sense of like, I know this is going to sound corny, but like fairy tale, like it's not real. And it's because soul relationships transcend the limitations of the mind. ESP is through the heart and mind, and I feel like this person's heart is closed. And so again, the fact that it's different, the relationship is different, is something that they've never experienced, but it's different in such a unique and good way that there's no words for it. And it's because I feel like they feel all these different emotions also, who has a relationship where they feel passionate about a person, but also want to rip their head off, but also because they can't control that, all these, and then make you feel happy, that make you feel, it's again, crazy, makes you feel crazy, and love makes you feel crazy, and that's what I keep hearing, and that's what I feel like this person feels. So again, but I feel like they doubt quite highly that, again, you're going to want to be with them because of disappointment. Again, so something that they did. So the underlying energy is that this person is fearful. So we'll see why they're fearful. And then we'll see what they're going to do about it, obviously, So we want to see. Well, I feel like what happened is that this person like kept doing the same thing over and over and over again to you, and you wound up holding on to a lot of resentment to the point that it's like, without change behavior, you're not going to treat this person differently. So again, and what they kept doing was assuming that you were going to never leave, keep putting up with like abusive energy. And part of it too was that they would like attack you, like emotionally attack you, psychologically attack you by what they believe that you were doing. Like, I feel like this person projected a lot. I feel like what they were actually doing, they were accusing you sometimes of doing, like just trying to gaslight you and then assuming that you were going to like fix it and continue to hold on and, you know, deal with bad treatment. They were dishonest. You just got to a point where you got tired of deception and the dishonesty that they would have. But it was a lot of gaslighting. It was a lot of manipulation because they assumed that you were going to act the way that you were going to. Yeah, and that's what it was. Expected you to beg, expected you to run after them, expected you again, and you got tired of the abandonment issues, them weaving in and out of your life. This is intermittent manipulation too, when a person comes in and out of your life. What they do is like it creates such severe abandonment issues that it swells the amygdala. There's a whole physical change. So this is why too, understand, they thought, first of all, we have this strong connection, but then what they were doing when a person does this, they're wearing you away, wearing you down emotionally and psychologically. That's why this person really felt like, oh, eventually you're just going to give in. And so, and what it was you said that they had time for everyone else. So it was a combination of trying to make you feel unworthy of their time, stonewalling, again, like you don't matter, but giving you just enough to hold on. And that was again why this person, you know, was so confident. And now what they're seeing is, it's like, well, they thought that they destroyed the relationship, and they did, but they never expected to have feelings. It's like the whole point was to wear you down. This person would have, and don't think that this person would have acted nicer. They would have acted smoother. They would have acted kinder. They would have, played the game longer so that they actually got further with you. Because this person, like, there's a sense, like, I feel like you got away. You got away. Like, it's triggering this person because I feel like they have a lot of unresolved trauma. And so, again, they have a lot of different feelings and emotions for you. And I said there's a sense of, I love you and I'm passionate, but I also want to rip your head off. Like, I told you, like, it stirs like a lot of, like, again, secret desires that this person has. You're their secret desire, but they're not going to act like that. And so, and they don't really know how to respond, and so almost like you make up to break up, you break up to make up. And like, it's an attachment style where, you feel like you're on the lone path most of the time in the relationship, because emotionally this person they can't they can't show up. Too many, again, spiritual blockages, but then this person wants what they want, you see? So they're not going to want to miss their chance to be with you. It's like, I can't let you get away because I do have feelings for you. But if we look at it from that way, understand this person has a distorted sense of what they believe love is. It's about control and dominance. And that's not love. That's, love with conditions. And so you'll be punished every time you don't like give in to this person, and, keeping your vision clouded, so like hoping so that you don't see, when really this person doesn't see what they do. So, there's a lot of projection, like I said. And so it's a lot about passion, because the energy is on a lower vibration, because they're on a lower vibration. They see you for your energy, but you're not like running after this person. You're not begging to come back into their life. They didn't wear you down into the ground, which they assumed you were someone else. Like I said, they would have played it differently if they would have seen. They didn't see. So there's still all this passion, But understand when there's so much intense passion, which feelings and emotions, there's a fine line between love and hate. Um, Understand like that's all that it would be. And then the relationship would burn out, but you're not playing the game. See, you're not in the game, but that's this person. So it forces this person because that same spiritual energy, believe it or not, and I don't know why I'm feeling this, it's like, is that Kundalini energy. And so it's almost like this person, because you walked away and like they're seeing themselves different and they're not in a good place, they're actually like seeking wisdom in prayer. Again, where they have judgment with themselves for the way that they treated you. And that's why it goes back to why they doubt that you quite highly, that you would, that you're not going to play along. They were a big disappointment to you. It's again, so why? I know, like, but I know that that sounds so fucked up, but it's like, that's that energy. I feel like that sexual energy, and that sexual energy happens when a person goes through like a little bit of an awakening, which it's a turbulent experience because the person's not awake on how they act. It's like they have spiritual blockages, and those spiritual blockages are really what distorts this person's perceptions about who they are and who you are. So really there has to be a tower moment, but I believe that you could be part of this person's tower moment is why I'm like the symbolization of that, because I'm like, why all the sexual energy? Why all the sexual energy? Like, I mean, and like now after the fact, that it's not, I'm like, I don't understand. And then Spirit says, because it's again, this push this person a little bit into an awakening because their ego. This is who I think I am. This is who I want people to perceive I am. But again, when someone rejects this person and they actually have feelings, well, it forces this person to look at themselves, whether they want to or not. Person has to awaken somehow. You're probably not the only thing that did this again with their, but it brought them to the love blocks that they have, that, seeing again, being honest with themselves. Like I said, they see the love blocks. They can't project that it's onto you because you're not playing along. If you don't play along and you don't react and you don't fight to be in this person's life and you don't do all the things that they thought that you were going to do, which we said that you did not do, which is why there's a sense of like, I have respect for you now. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, but it is because this person doesn't trust who they are. They have love blocks. They don't really believe in it. So what they see, even after destroying the relationship, is that they still have feelings. It's that emotion. Again, when a person's detached and disassociated, they don't have feeling or an emotion. When people have gone through trauma within relationships, they detach. They don't have feelings. So they're asleep. So that's why I felt again on a bigger, because you have to say, Bombshell, Buddha, and whoever else is listening, like, why would like this relationship at this point, like, would it mean shit to you? So what's the whole point? Because you're like, well, I'm not going to come back, like, unless this person did like a 380, like, and really, and even then they'd have to walk on water and be the next coming of Jesus Christ, maybe, and even then, possibly not, have to make a lot of wine into water and have me drink all that wine and to take this person back after the damage that they did, what's the point? And the point is for healing. Again, relationships, the universe doesn't care whether you're with a person or not. You'll have free will, though, if the person actually does the healing and comes back, and we will look and see, because inquiring minds want to know. That's why. However, this God doesn't care. The universe doesn't care if you're with this person. It cares that you both get the healing that you need. So it's a karmic relationship. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like in Jesus himself. Like, I mean, you wouldn't it's almost like, what the fuck, I can't go back with you because I'm never going to see you differently. You ruin the relationship. So what for? And it's for closure, for healing, for to heal and to see the situation differently. It's like for your healing. So right now we're seeing this person's healing again, because that's why, because you're like, I don't give a shit, like with this person. And so, but spirit says, and the reason why is because the feelings came and went, and then the chemistry was washed away. It was washed away because like they ruin the relationship. Intimacy problems, trust problems create intimacy problems. It's a second chakra imbalance. That's why. So it's like, I can't even be with you now because I can't even see you the way that I used to see you, which is this person's uh, prophecy about themselves. I don't end love. I don't believe in love. I don't believe I can have love. So again, that's their reoccurring karmic theme. They're asleep. The awakened part is, hey, wait, even though I fucked up this situation, I still have feelings for you. It doesn't mean that I can just come back, though. I see that. I see. But I also see that I sabotaged the relationship. I also see now I have to look and see how I did that. That's their journey. It's again just, and so you needed to know that spirit says that's first of all. And possibly to be like, fucking jerk was an asshole to me. I don't give a fuck if the person sets themselves on fire. And spirit says, well, again, that's why you needed to see again, they're actually healing. You needed to see the situation from a different perception in order to let go, in order to realize that this person just wasn't healed. And you're like, yeah, so what the fuck for me then? And then the universe says, well, that's where your healing comes into place because you're not healed. It's again, if you attracted that person, you'd be like, I'm fine. Bring me somebody. And spirit says you have to dig out those spiritual blockages so that you can again attract somebody that's going to be in alignment with who you are today, not the wounds of your past. You needed to integrate certain things. So we always look at the inner child wounds because that's where the fragmentation usually started. And then the karmic theme continues to play out. So if we felt unworthy, if we felt not good enough, if we felt not safe, if we felt like there was betrayal, if they felt, then those are the karmic themes that we're going to continue to see play out within our lives. And we're going to have to then inspect our habits and our behaviorisms to see whether or not those we're creating that reality subconsciously, and what we can do to actually heal. So we look, hope, first card out. Second card out is outdoors and nature. Third card out is dance. Fourth card out is trauma. Fifth card out is neglect. Self-sabotage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 cards. I was like, oh, the first 3 cards, I was like, well, maybe, sometimes we uncover gifts. And then we saw the third cards, and I was like, well, maybe not. So psychological, emotional, spiritual, the mind doesn't know the difference. You're only in physical form to learn and to manifest. What are you learning? You're supposed to be learning that you're not separate from your creator. We're not separate from each other through the energy of love. So when we are balanced and whole and grounded and connected to the earth, which it shows here that was kind of an issue, the groundingness. The outdoors and nature represents that. It's our connection to not just ourselves, but each other. And if there was trauma, again, psychological or emotional from our parents at any time, then, what we're taught about other people, what we're taught about ourselves stems from those early years. So again, it could be anything that creates trauma. You could have someone that always was sick, grew up with a parent that had cancer. I know that was my situation. But you could grow up with, again, a person that worked all the time, parents were divorced, or parents that were in a horrible codependent relationship that weren't nice to each other. So they obviously weren't going to be nice to you. You know, they had those issues. So when again we're talking about groundedness, we're talking about our roots. So again, like a blockage within that root chakra. And why I say again that trauma to the point where we feel neglected, we feel alone, we feel, that our needs somehow aren't met, whether that's psychologically, emotionally, physically, doesn't the mind doesn't care. And I say when we don't feel connected to other people, because again, if we would grow up with a parent that maybe bullied us, right? If that parent did that, or we perceived it as bullying because our parent was in a bad mood. It's not a blame game, but it's to understand what was that karmic theme. And that karmic theme, it was bad enough to where you overgave of your energy. So you could have felt like, well, I was the parent. My parent wasn't the parent, I was the parent. And so the self sabotaging behavior is that it's that there is the lack of connection to your physical self, and that means knowing yourself. And I say that because life really is, to me, a co-creation dance. It's a dance where you're physically, obviously, in your body, but then the universe is bringing you the people, the situations, and the experiences that are going to change your mind and your heart about what you perceive about yourself, what you perceive you can have, because we can't go back in time to erase the trauma, whatever it was. You're not going to say, well, that experience, spirit says, no, we can, but we can we can't have those people all of a sudden show up for us because they couldn't show up for themselves in some area if there was trauma. But it's not to neglect yourself. You have to reparent yourself. And that's when you get in your body and you are, putting the time and the energy into yourself. And that's by growing yourself. And you have to say, where are you not happy in your life? That's where you start, because again, you don't want to stay in an energy where I'm not happy. If it's a job, if it's your environment, there's a sense of I don't have help, the lack of groundedness, where really spirit says, I work through you, through gut intuition, inner knowing, but I also work through your environment. So don't neglect yourself. You might be going through the same type of karmic theme where it's like, I'm financially struggling again, or I'm going to be evicted again, or I'm going to be whatever that trauma is that continues to play out. Because when we see trauma, it will play out not just within our relationships, but within some area of our life. And that's usually going to affect our money. And so Spirit's saying is like, you got to be reparent yourself. And you say, well, how do I do that? And again, by transmuting the negative energy, Spirit saying, I live inside of you. So again, you have to do something different. Because if this is the type of person that you're attracting into your life, and they're not where you're like, I don't even care anymore. There's just nothing else going on in my life. So that's why I'm, watching this. Then Spirit's saying, like, then clearly there needs to be something to be put in that place, because you can't get rid of negative energy. So again, you heal by healing the inside out. And that's the trauma. So first and foremost, Spirit says, you feel alone. That the Spirit says you're never alone because I live inside of you, inside of you as the gift of the Holy Spirit. So you're never alone. The universe is inside of you. The universe is an extension of God's energy because God created the world. You have that energy inside of you. That energy is what connects us to each other. It's the energy of love. It's unconditional love. It's the highest frequency. And so Spirit says you have to every day tap in to that energy. It's again because there's a sense of I don't feel safe, and you would need to do that anyway because that root chakra having a block there shows that you have a disconnect from the physical body, the physical world, physical elements of the physical world. And so Spirit says it all starts with you having a better connection to you. And that's through, again, connecting to me. So that's through meditation. I personally like to do the Silva Ultra Mind method. You want to get down to the theta level. That's the ESP level of the heart and mind. That's when you're going to be really being able to be open to those higher energies, because Spirit says it's again is how you can retreat. When they get down to that level of healing, it's equivalent to like an hour and a half of sleep. It's like it's a way to rejuvenate yourself. It's a way for you to connect to yourself, because we know that we create stability through getting stronger ourselves, not through trying to create an environment that's going to suit who we are. Is that we become strong so we can go with the flow of life, Spirit says. So that's number one. Yeah, see that you got to do it. And see, your higher self will always know what you need. It's again, a lot of times we don't. And Spirit says also, like, find your voice to express your actual feelings. I feel like a lot of you have gone through feelings of trauma, and that's where there's there would be a lot of emotions that you didn't process. So detachment, disassociation, healing yourself by becoming yourself. So writing, will help. Speaking, public speaking, like sharing your story. And it's all about seeing yourself differently, Spirit says, because you don't want to attract this energy. And when you see yourself differently, it's because you're becoming yourself and you're connecting to all things that are going to be in the same vibration of love. And you are rooted in the earth and interactive with the people on the earth, but you're also connected to the higher self. And so Spirit says, you want to be able to, maybe share your story. It's about being able to speak your truth. It's about being able to feel confident in, asking for what you need. People create their world with their voices. That's how we create our world. We have to ask for what we need. We have to set boundaries. So if you grew up with trauma, understand it's a root chakra issue, as I said. So all the chakras would be out of balance. So being able to speak our truth. And so we have to again be comfortable in our own body and really feel the cues that are going on inside, which is that gut, that knowing of when to speak and what not to speak, and so that you're not feel like you're guided, is what Spirit says. It's like you always have that, because that's the only way you're going to transform. That's the only way you're going to see yourself differently. You went through this situation to say, no, I'm worth more than whatever this is. I don't care that you're sorry. I don't care that you want to fix it now. I don't care. That's your shit. And Spirit says, yes, that's their karma. And you should know that because they treated you really badly. And so Spirit says, but understand you needed healing too. There was trauma, and this person represented that. And they represented the neglect. And also now that it's time for you to reparent yourself. And the karmic, test was, were you going to self-sabotage yourself? Were you going to give yourself away? Or were you going to be true to you? Were you going to not abandon yourself? We can't abandon ourselves, as God says, because Spirit's inside of us. So we have to, again, honor that higher self, because that's what's going to connect you to all the energies that are abundant for you. It's again, so forming that connection to your higher self. So again, take time out every day to strengthen your spiritual connection to God. And that's through your own psychic abilities, your own intuition, create the vision board. Again, the imagination. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Then also ground it, be interactive, Spirit says, because then the universe conspires to bring you what you need. Spirit says, you don't think I know that you want to meet somebody? You don't think I know your type? I know your type better than you know your type. So you're not controlling it. What you're doing is you're just enjoying your life, and you're seeing your life unfold. And again, the universe bringing you everything that you need emotionally, psychologically, financially, every single way, that you're supported, that you have spiritual sovereignty. You're not making the best of it. That's why I said utilize the Silva Ultramind method. That will help you, again, connect to that higher self. It's because in the end, you don't have no control over your outer world, but you do have control over how you respond to that outer world. And that's where the karma resides, right? You want to avoid negative karma. That's what it's about, because you didn't have control over this person. It's like, I thought that they disguised themselves. And Spirit says, yeah, because of their wounds. But they got theirs. And Spirit ends off with one more message, which is courage. Again, know that you're strong. Spirit says, be strong and know that you're stronger than fear and bigger than doubt, that you're light and that you remain light, that you trust in God and stand tall before the test of life. See that? This was a test. And that you grow and you become wiser through every challenge. And you are a being of new life. And a new life meaning is like it's a new perception of you. You went through this. It's like, this is how I recognize that this is what I know, and this is what I know. I'm going to honor me. It's like, if that person didn't come at this time, they weren't supposed to. I was supposed to be doing other things, working more on me, so that I can attract somebody that's going to be more in alignment with who I am, not who I want to be, but who I am. It's like, and it's because I recognize people that are like me. And that's really what Spirit says. And the courage to say no. It's again to have faith. It's a faith walk. But if you have confidence in you and the higher power, then you really do become stronger, and a new life emerges from that trauma, because you don't want to recreate that trauma through again. Now I'm attracting like this fucking person. And that'll happen if you grew up in an alcoholic family, then you marry an alcoholic. Or if it was a codependent relationship, now you find yourself in a codependent relationship. This is what ancestral karma is about. This is why we want to break that trauma. And Spirit says, and you can do it because you have spiritual sovereignty. And so it's about being aware. And that was a test. But now the key is, now you're going to do it through co-creating. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Be like childlike. Go out, find yourself, have a love affair with yourself. You'll meet your tribe, and you'll meet people, and you'll date those people. But you'll be coming from a place where your cup is full. So if the person's not worth your time, you're not going to keep them in your life enough that they could do any harm to you. They'll have to fight for their position. And it's not to be mean, but people have closed hearts today. And you have to make a person open their heart. And you have to keep your heart open too, for your health, not just for relationships, for your health. And you can do that by emotionally being fulfilled, is what my Spirit says. The larger reason, Spirit says, because I don't care whether you're with this person or not. I don't give a shit. You could be with Peter Pan for all I care, or Mary Poppins. Don't care. It's that you learn the lesson, and that we restore your energy back to the energy of love. That's what the universe wants. Doesn't care about anything else. That's why there's many different realities that play out at one time. You get to choose your reality. That's what this channel is about. Teaching you how to choose the reality. And so you don't repeat the same undesirable reality. And that, again, takes courage. But it also takes having a very strong connection to the higher self, the God part of self. And you can do that. And you need to do that, not just for relationships, but because you don't want to become part of the world. You want to be in the world, but not a part of the world, because the world is not not of a high vibration, because there's many different people on it that lower the vibration, because they need healing. So this is a healing channel to help restore your energy back to your original energy of unconditional love, and to teach you how to do that. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Yeah, spirit doesn't mess around. Spirit does not mess around. It's like, because, you know, thank you, Bombshell Buddha. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for being here and sharing your energy with me. I love that. If you're connected to a Virgo or Scorpio, check out those channel placements. I have an all zodiac too. That's a psychic soul healer channel. But my Scorpio and Virgo channel are a lot busier. Thank you. Thank you. And I love you too. All right, guys. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Keep your bell on. Subscribe to the channel, so the next time you'll catch when I'm on. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.